Right now, on to the point. A family's fight for justice.
If the DA is elected to try and prosecute cases, why are they handpicking cases?
The 22-year-old murder of a Native American man is now under state review. Construction on I-10 begins after a massive fire. What was found in the debris and why this could lead to changes on our highways. And as we honor Native American Heritage Month, we take you to Humboldt County, how one tribe once lived. But first tonight, breaking news right now in downtown Sacramento. Police say a person was stabbed just before 5 p.m. in the area of 4th and K. It's not clear what led up to the stabbing, but we are told the person is in critical condition and police are looking for the person who did this. Of course, you know we will keep you updated as we learn more. Thank you so much for joining us. This is To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. It's been more than 2 decades without any answers. A prominent figure in the Miwok tribe and Sacramento Native American caucus murdered in his home back in 2001, and no one has been charged with his death. Tonight, our Jeannie Nguyen shares new details in the case and his family's fight for justice.
I always went to him for direction, for advice and guidance.
Matthew Franklin always looked up to his uncle, Alan Olvera, and saw him as a father figure.
He was one of those that wasn't afraid to be Indian in a time when you should have been afraid to be Indian.
As members of the Miwok tribe, Franklin says his uncle was always advocating for the Native American people. But in October 2001, Olvera's life was unexpectedly cut short. He was found beaten to death in his South Sacramento home. No one has ever been charged in his death.
It changed our family, it changed our history, it changed everything about who we are.
For years, Franklin and his family waited for justice, but it never came. Earlier this year, the Sacramento County District Attorney's Office decided to not pursue the case. Chief Deputy District Attorney Scott Triplett tells ABC 10, even though there is DNA and fingerprints, there is insufficient evidence to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt.
You give a jury DNA and fingerprints of the suspect at the scene of the crime, why are you taking that out of their hands to decide whether or not this is prosecutable?
Disappointed, the family reached out to the state attorney general's office for help. And now the family's request has been answered. The AG's office sent the family this letter stating they will review the DA's decision to not take the case.
Will that finally make things shake loose to make you arrest somebody? We hope so.
The Sacramento Chief Deputy DA Scott Triplett says he recognizes the Attorney General has the authority to review all criminal cases, but stands by the decision to not file any charges.
The fact is, you didn't even try. If the DA is elected to try and prosecute cases, why are they handpicking cases?
A spokesperson for the AG's office would only tell ABC 10 it is reviewing the case, but is unable to make any additional comments. For now, Franklin says he's going to keep fighting for justice for his uncle, but also his community.
To make sure that his life and legacy live on through scholarships, through song, through cultural preservation.
Jeannie joins us now. Jeannie, we know that the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office, they were the first to respond to this scene back in 2001, and they've been investigating ever since. Have they said if they have any persons of interest or a suspect at all?
Well, Alex, a spokesperson for the Sheriff's Office would only confirm to me that this is still an active case and they are actively working on it. Additional information could not be given to me without compromising this case.
And I do want to mention, we have previously spoken to Olvera's family and the detective on this case. They told us during the crime, items were stolen, including Native American artifacts. The family feels not only was the life taken, but some of their culture was taken too. So I just wanted to point that out. Jeannie, thank you so much for this update. We appreciate it. All right, now to developing news in San Joaquin County. Investigators just searched a home of Stockton Unified School District President Angel Ann Flores. The district attorney's office first posted the information, then retracted the names. Sources have confirmed to ABC 10 that the search involved her home and possessions and is related to the school district. In a statement, the district says, quote, "It has been brought to our attention that the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office is conducting an investigation. The Stockton Unified School District will cooperate fully while keeping our focus on students' wellness and achievement." There is a board meeting tonight. We can now confirm Flores is not there. We have reached out to her for comment. We have not heard back. You know, we will bring you any updates and developments as we get them into our newsroom. It will take anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks to repair parts of Interstate 10 in Los Angeles after this massive storage fire. About 100 columns were damaged in the Saturday blaze that spread over 8 acres. Right now, investigators say arson was to blame, but are still trying to determine if more than one person was involved. So they gave an update on what was found at the site.
Of all the hazmat materials, nothing was highly contaminated on this site. We have dust contamination plans that are operational as we speak. There is a modest amount of contaminant, particularly lead, but that was derivative from the burning of the vehicles. There was no stored materials that were toxic and no surprises on site.
The governor says the state has been in litigation with Apex Development, Inc., that is the owner of the business leasing the storage property where the fire started. He says the lease expired and the business had been behind in rent while illegally subleasing the space to 5 or 6 other entities. Now, just so you know, storage yards under highways are common statewide. The money from the leases goes to public transit. Newsom says the practice will be reevaluated following the fire. An alleged bomb threat airdropped to people on a United flight caused the plane to make an emergency landing at SFO last night. The flight from LAX to Vancouver landed just before 9:30 after the threat was deemed non-credible. United says 148 passengers and 8 crew members were on board. The FBI says they are speaking with passengers. New video into the newsroom tonight showing a new perspective of a shootout in Roseville at Mahaney Park. And it happened earlier this year. A hostage was killed and the suspect was arrested. The CHP just released this video to us. So what you're hearing is gunfire that seems endless. This is from inside a CHP officer's patrol car. You could see emergency responders rushing into the park. We are going through this video tonight, and we'll have more on late news tonight at 11. A popular North Sacramento ice skating rink could be welcoming folks back onto the ice very soon. City Council just voted to approve funding that would help restore Iceland skating rink on Del Paso Boulevard. So the rink has been closed for the past few years due to the pandemic, and it was heavily damaged by a fire in 2010. A $1.3 million funding package would help pay for improvements to the facility and a new metal roof. This would allow the rink to stay open all year round, attracting more visitors to the Del Paso Boulevard commercial corridor. City documents indicate the rink could resume operations by summer of 2024. Just hours ago, the House voted to keep the government funded into the new year. New Republican Speaker Mike Johnson was forced to reach across the aisle to Democrats as he faced opposition within his own party. The plan now goes to the Senate for a vote. Coming up onto the point, the proposal to add a toll on I-80 to make your commute faster.
We are continuing to track this big storm off in the Pacific. When we'll see the rain and the snow for the rest of the week.
And later, we take you to a park in Humboldt County to visit a native village and to re-examine the past.
Just hope that visitors understand that this spot is special to us and this is our home and we're here for forever.
All right, we know it's a busy time of year. Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods with us right now. Forecast kind of all over the place. What are we looking at?
I know we got school, we got Friday night football, soccer's going on, as well as all that holiday travel. And you can see we've been watching this weather event just off the coast here, mostly affecting the northern part of the state this morning. We saw some early morning showers, particularly for the North Bay area. But this is a much different system. It's got a lot of warm air that's feeding it right now. Highs today in the 70s. It's a warm storm, and that's going to keep our temperatures above average, as well as the snow level above the passes. And rain will be heavier at times. Warmer air can hold more moisture. So when we do see the rain, those big bands coming through, we'll have some decent downpours heading our way. Average high 66 degrees. We've been hovering slightly above that for the past couple of days. Tonight, still lovely for that evening walk. Temperatures holding in the 50s. 44 that forecast low. Right about on target. That sunrise right about 6:45. Tomorrow morning, we start off with dry weather. Here comes the next bigger band of rain. That moves in tomorrow evening with rain mixed with snow for the Sierra. Occasional showers coming in for our Thursday forecast, but the main event will be heading our way for Friday afternoon. So Friday morning, again, a dry commute. It's during the afternoon that things really start to get going with a slight chance for thunderstorms in there as well. This continues into Friday night and even through Saturday as well. Our rainfall totals will be coming in close to about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of rain through the valley, higher totals along the coast. And then for our snow, it's not going to be a big snow producer. Our snow level will be roughly above the passes for most of this weather event and then lower below the passes, not until Saturday evening. Highs for tomorrow in the 50s for the Sierra, 60s and 70s down low, with our highs along the coast in the 60s and close to 70, especially South Bay area will be in the 70s tomorrow, 60s to near 70 tomorrow for the valley. Our 5-day forecast for the region is going to be unsettled weather at least through Saturday, cooler weather for that Saturday forecast. And then we're right back to the dry weather for the valley on Sunday and dry for Thanksgiving Day.
Next, on To the Point, a new climate report release says American life is under a growing threat. What's being done to help? All right. Tonight, Caltrans wants to know how you would feel about paying to make your commute faster on a portion of I-80. ABC 10's Devin Truby tells us about the proposed project and when we could have to pay a toll.
It's the causeway. Everything narrows down. It's like it makes logical sense, but it's annoying. You plan your life around it.
Caltrans is looking to ease traffic and incentivize carpooling with a $465 million project that would add a toll lane in each direction on I-80 from Yolo County to Sacramento County, a 20-mile stretch of road.
I guess you could say it's notorious for having standstill traffic. So we're looking to improve the overall travel.
The toll lanes would start in Davis and end at West El Camino Avenue in Sacramento. A toll lane would also be added from the 8050 junction in West Sacramento to Interstate 5 junction in Sacramento.
We have these type of toll lanes that already exist in the Bay Area. So what we would like to do is try to keep them at the most minimal amount or something that's reflects what's currently being charged.
A bike path would be added along the causeway, plus a 300-spot parking lot to park and ride in West Sacramento. But residents we spoke to aren't sold.
I don't know. I think that's a mixed bag, because we utilize that space. And I hate to think that now I have to pay to head over into Sacramento.
Eugene Navarrete is all for the extra lanes, but his commute from the Bay Area is already costing him $7 a day on the bridge toll. He says he doesn't want an added cost.
I think we should not be paying any toll lanes for that. I mean, it's part of the government. I mean, they should just be providing service for our people who work, especially people who are just like hardworking.
Donna Hagan says just because they utilize this method in the Bay Area doesn't mean Sacramento has to get on board.
Coming from the Bay Area, which is where we lived before, it kind of got a little old.
If approved, Caltrans would begin construction for the toll road next October, and it would be completed in winter of 2027. And there is still time for your opinion to be heard. There will be public meetings on November 28th at the West Sacramento Community Center and then December 13th at the Mary L. Stevens Library in Davis. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you have to say about this proposed tollway. You can text me at 916-321-3310 or send me an email at tothepoint@abc10.com. We'd like to share some of your thoughts right here on the show tomorrow. All right, more treatment programs to help control the opioid crisis are coming to San Joaquin County. Stockton city leaders announced more than $1 million in funding for its community medical respite center to help people overcome withdrawal from opioids and prevent more overdose deaths. The money comes from California opioid settlement agreements. Tonight, the latest climate report released by the federal government is ringing the alarm, saying the effects are worsening every part of the nation, but more can be done to slow down those impacts.
The authors of the 5th National Climate Assessment say climate changes are making it harder to maintain safe homes and healthy families, and that those challenges will worsen as temperatures rise. President Biden today pledging $6 billion. The White House says a lot of that funding will come from the bipartisan infrastructure law and the Inflation Reduction Act to combat climate change.
It shows that communities across America are taking more action than ever to reduce climate risk. It warns that more action is still badly needed. We can't be complacent.
Biden vowing for more funding from FEMA, the EPA, and projects to strengthen and modernize the electric grid, grants to support drought resilience in the West.
Anyone who willfully denies the impact of climate change is condemning the American people to a very dangerous future.
The report also showing progress being made. For instance, U.S. emissions are going down even as the population and demand for energy goes up.
The major economies of the world need to make the major emissions reductions, and it's not just talk. Not only has the president passed the largest climate investment here in the United States, he's been able to bring together hundreds of nations around the world around this proposition.
According to the report, many regions are experiencing multiple impacts at the same time at a much faster rate. In the 1980s, it states the U.S. had a $1 billion disaster every 4 months. On average, the U.S. experiences a $1 billion weather or climate disaster every 3 weeks.
And 2 other notable global climate reports were also released from the United Nations and the 2023 State of Climate Action Report, which each highlight how global efforts to curb emissions are falling short. There will also be a major UN summit later this month. And President Biden is expected to meet with the Chinese president in San Francisco tomorrow during the APEC conference. The president says his goal is to get the U.S.-China relationship onto, quote, normal course. The two are also expected to discuss trade and Taiwan. Here you see the last time the two met at the G20 summit about a year ago. November is Native American Heritage Month, and we are sharing stories of the Native American community in California. So tonight, John Bartel takes us on the back roads to Yurok country in Humboldt County to visit a Native village and to re-examine the past.
You can't change the past, but you can make changes in the present.
This park is still super important and managed differently.
And change was made here.
We are walking towards Sume Village, and Sume Village was completed in 1989.
Long before state park interpreter Kessela McQuillan guided visitors into this clearing of Humboldt County redwood trees, the land was called Patrick's Point, named after homesteader Patrick Began.
He caused violence within the Yurok community.
This land was Kessela's ancestral home, a Yurok tribal village, but in 1864, Patrick Began brought in an armed militia and massacred villagers, ultimately making more room for homesteaders to take over Yurok land.
His name kind of stuck here, and so that's why it was named Patrick's Point State Park until it was changed.
It's called a genocide. That's what it was. And so I'm here to say the following. I'm sorry on behalf of the state of California.
It would take the Yurok tribe decades of petitioning and an apology by the governor to trigger change. But in September of 2021, Patrick's Point State Park was changed to Sumeg State Park. Today, the park is a recreation of the Yurok village and the homes that once stood here.
Yurok traditional plank houses have a unique type of engineering. So the door would actually be a lot smaller than this to keep out predators.
After the massacre at Patrick's Point, Yurok all over Humboldt County were forced into reservations, and these traditional redwood plank houses were all destroyed.
And this would essentially be where we would live, where we would spend time with our families.
As reservations grew in the early 1900s, the government did their best to erase Yurok indigenous culture. Skills, lifestyles, beliefs, and languages were all nearly lost. But with the help of tribal elders, these plank houses were rebuilt to preserve the tribe's old way of living.
Everything's enclosed, and you don't have a lot of natural light within your house, and so here we would have the ability to take the planks off and on whenever you needed.
From the sweat lodge to the traditional dress house, visitors are free to explore the village. The purpose of Sumeg State Park is to encourage visitors to re-examine our past and reflect on the suppressed culture of indigenous people.
We just believe that redwood houses us and takes care of us and helps us transport each other. So it's a very complex system that we truly believe kind of relies off of each other. I just hope that visitors understand that this spot is special to us, and this is our home, and we're here for forever, and we'll continue to hopefully steward these places until future generations take over that.
Reporting on Native American Heritage Month, I'm John Bartel.
Next, one family's warning to you after losing thousands in a travel scheme. Coming up tomorrow on To The Point, a family's trip ruined by a travel scheme. Jacob Denny and his family booked a trip to Yosemite through a travel website, only to find out it was a scam, and now they've lost $3,700.
The site is manipulated to capture your payment information, while in the end, no reservations are made.
Tomorrow at 6:30, right here on To The Point, they're warning to you before you book your next trip. And with that being said, this show is all about spending more time on stories that matter to you. So please reach out to me and the team. We want to hear about issues impacting you right here in Northern California. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.